Welcome to Bits and Bytes Gaming. I'm Pascal Takaya, and this is Instant Replay, Episode 7. I thought this episode I would cover something a little different. So far, we've had retrospectives for action games, adventure RPGs, even arcade beat-em-ups. I've covered several fairly popular games. Everyone knows Total Recall, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is certainly a household name. But now it's time to switch it up a little. In this episode, I'm going to be talking about a game which, quite honestly, I'd be surprised if more than a handful of you had heard about. I'm talking about Capcom's strategy PS2 puzzler, Bombastic. Bombastic is unique because at its core, it uses dice-based puzzles. This, to my knowledge, has never been attempted elsewhere. The story is very simple. You play as the 5 Akui brothers, who decide one night that they'd sure like to find and visit their grandpa. So off they go, and many adventures abound. As you start the Akuis on their path, you'll spend most of your time riding on top of dice that you'll need to maneuver around the environment, kind of like running on top of a rolling ball, but with edges and corners. As you move your die, it rolls and flips from number to number. The ultimate goal here is to line up or otherwise group dice with matching numbers together to make them explode. It takes 2 dice with 2s showing, 3 with 3s, 5 5s, and so on. Of course, like any good strategy or puzzle title, Bombastic begins with a simple concept, then quickly makes it more complex by adding special rules or restrictions. One barrier the Akui brothers have to overcome is the presence of enemies. There are different enemy types too. Some patrol in circles or set patterns, some are stationary, some will hunt you down wherever you go. There's even bosses, which get pretty tough, but more on that in a moment. But the thing that makes this game really difficult at times lies in the very nature of the dice. They have 6 sides in a certain pattern, with opposite sides adding up to 7 every time. In addition, any dice of equal or lesser value caught in a blast will then also begin to explode, leading to some monumental chain reactions. But Bombastic expects players to master these dice physics and apply them with mastery, often without ample time to think about the consequences of your actions. For example, who could actually approach a situation like this and solve it correctly on their first try? It's this think-on-the-fly aspect that makes the game pretty damn challenging, and unless you're replaying sections over and over to memorize them, chances are you won't make it far. I'll be honest. In later levels or during boss fights, I often just randomly lined up dice, hoping for luck to be on my side. There simply wasn't enough time to really think things through. Bombastic isn't a bad game by any means. Aside from story mode, there's a 5-player mode and challenge boards. Most importantly, it plays well and is fast-paced. It's also pretty colorful and cutesy, but it doesn't seem to get a lot of recognition. I don't know anyone other than myself who owns this game. I think it's just a little too difficult, making players rely too heavily on the element of random luck. I think, were it re-released today, it would probably be a handheld title due to its simple mechanics and chunk-like levels. So if you're into older generation gaming or strategy games and come across this one for cheap, don't be afraid to give it a whirl. Just don't expect the next coming of addictive puzzle gameplay out of it. Thanks for joining me in a look back at Bombastic, and make sure you check back soon when I'll do a retrospective of the critically acclaimed console adventure Indigo Prophecy, also known as Fahrenheit. In the meantime, you can head over to bnbgaming.com to leave us feedback on this episode, visit us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter for the latest in video game news and reviews. In the meantime, and on behalf of the staff here at the B&B offices, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you again soon. Goodbye.